I'm a 26-year-old male. I recently moved back to my mother's house after graduating from university. The timing couldn't have been more perfect because I was looking for a full-time job and really needed a place to stay for a few months. I moved back into my childhood bedroom when I came back home. The first few weeks were great. I was sending out application after application, trying to get my career started, playing a lot of video games and catching up on my favorite animes that I missed during finals. Now, to add some context to the story, I'll tell you the setup of my room. When you walk in, there's a bathroom straight forward past the closet, and to the left is the area with my TV and computer, and my bed is up against the wall on the right. The end of the bed where I lay my head is basically up against the big window in my room, which I usually leave open with the curtains drawn because I like the breeze coming in on hot nights. I live in a one-story house, so this window is ground level. One night, at about 11:30 or so, I was in bed watching Netflix when I heard a tap right above my head, coming from the window. I nearly jumped out of my skin and jerked myself into an upright position to look out of the window. Upon gazing out into the darkness, I saw nothing. Now, if there was something out there, I would probably be able to see it. Right behind my backyard is a little hill, and a pedestrian bridge that passes over it which has street lights on it, dimly illuminating some of my backyard. After realizing it was nothing, I quickly forgot about the tap on my window and resumed watching my show. Then shortly after, I fell asleep. Another week went by just like normal, and I invited my friend over for some drinks. He's one of my best friends, and we haven't seen each other in a while, so I figured it would be fun to let loose a little bit and play some Smash Brothers. After drinking a little too much, my friend and I decided that he should spend the night, and he could drive home in the morning. Now that no one had to drive, we did a couple more shots each and watched some Netflix before bed. I fall asleep quickly, so when we started getting tired I crashed immediately. My friend on the other hand has always had trouble falling asleep right away, even while intoxicated. I could hear him watching YouTube or something on his phone as I drifted in and out of consciousness. Then, just as I was falling into a deep sleep, someone started shaking my shoulder trying to wake me up. I groggily opened my eyes and turned my head to see my friend with an expression of sheer panic on his face. He was pale, and his hand that grasped my shoulder was trembling. Seeing this woke me right up, and I asked him what was wrong. "I saw someone outside the window," he said, with a low, shaky voice. I asked my friend for details, and if he was absolutely sure he saw someone outside. He told me that he was 100% sure that he saw a silhouette just outside the window. He also told me that he was about to turn in for the night, so when he shut off the light he turned around, and with the little light in the backyard he saw a man-shaped shadow right outside the window, facing in. Then suddenly, the shadow ran off to what must have been the side of the house. My friend was convinced without a doubt that what he saw was a person, or something. At first, being intoxicated and half awake, I didn't believe him, and I wanted to go back to bed. I told him it was probably nothing, it must have been the alcohol. I attempted to go back to sleep, but the second my head hit the pillow, I remembered how a week earlier I heard that tap at the window. My eyes shot back open, and I told my friend about that experience. Now we were both freaked out, increasingly so, and we quickly came up with a plan in an attempt to put our minds at ease. We ran to the kitchen and each grabbed a knife. Then we decided that one person should take the right side of the house and the other will take the left. We then opened the sliding glass door and split up, walking carefully so we didn't make any noise. I get to the left side of my house and put my back against the wall, knife in hand. I take a few seconds to gather enough courage to look, then slowly peek around the corner. I'm horrified when I see that our side yard gate is slightly open, which it never is. But other than that, I don't see anything else on my side of the house and assume that the intruder had left. Just then, I hear my friend cursing on the other side of the house, so I run over to see what's happening. When I round the corner, I ask him what's wrong, but before I could finish my sentence, I see what he is looking at in the corner up against the fence. It's a pale, skinny humanoid, maybe about 5 feet tall. It's not wearing any clothing, and its limbs are abnormally long and lanky. This thing is hunched up in the corner, as if trying not to be seen. After a very brief moment of me trying to register what I'm seeing, it looks up at us and screams an inhuman screech. I start tearing up, thinking to myself, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen. I'm in total shock and I can't get my legs to turn around and run. The creature stands up, screams again, and begins coming towards us. My friend turns around, grabs me by the arm, and starts running, pulling me right behind him. We make it back to the house and lock the sliding glass door quickly. When we look back up, the creature is staring at us from about 15 feet away in the yard, right on the edge of the backyard fence. We stare back, trying to read its next move. And after about 30 seconds or so, it turns around and climbs over the fence and onto the pedestrian bridge, running off. My friend and I take a few minutes to regain some kind of composure and debate whether we should call the police or not. We decide not to, assuming no one would believe us. We didn't get any sleep that night. After this incident, nothing else happened. A few weeks passed, and although I will always remember that night, I was finally able to fall asleep pretty regularly again, without being too afraid of my own house. My friend and I never talked about that night again. We never told each other why, but we both knew we wanted to forget about it. After another couple weeks, everything was back to normal for me. The fear I felt was fading. That was until my mother brought in the daily paper, only to find an article entitled, "Intruders Among Our Quiet Town." I read through the article, and when I got to the part with the description, it was describing the creature my friend and I had seen. That thing is still around. I couldn't believe it. Later that day, I went to my local gun store and bought a .45 caliber handgun to keep in my room. The next time this creature comes to torment me, I wouldn't be taking any chances.